Hi, folks. Now that the real estate boom is firmly in place, a lot of people are talking about investing in real estate. To my mind, investing in real estate is inherently complex. Now, as we know, for any investment, if we want to calculate what is the gain we made, we need to know the selling price as well as the cost price. In a property purchase, the cost of acquiring the property can be of two types. If it is a ready property, then you pay the amount upfront, the whole amount to purchase the flat plus stamp duty and registration. If it is an under construction property, then you will end up paying installments as the progress of the property goes up. So you may pay in installments across 1, 2, 3 years or more. Then you add the home loan cost to this. So there's an interest cost that you're paying every month. But when does an investor look at all these purchase costs in detail when they're going to sell the property? At that time, it is quite cumbersome to go back and collect all these data. So, most real estate investors only have a rough idea of what they paid, which may also be quite wrong. It is necessary for investors to keep detailed accounts of what they are paying as they are going along making these payments. The next step is to understand the difference between absolute returns and annualized return. If I bought a property for, let's say, 50 lakhs with all costs put together, my purchase cost, installment cost, stamp duty registration, and the interest cost, and I sold it for 60 lakhs, that means I made 10 lakhs gain, which is 20% of absolute return. What if I made this gain after a 5 year period of time? That means my annualized return is not 20%, but it is lower than that. I need to be able to calculate this. Now, there are very few investors who can keep all these figures in their mind and calculate it on the fly. This is why people like fixed deposits because they know that when they invest the money, what will be the return which they're getting at the end of the period and what is the amount that they're going to get for it. Even investors who are exposed to mutual funds come to realize that their app or platform provides them a calculation called XIRR, which is Extended Internal Rate of Return. This is a form of annualized return. Now, what happens in mutual funds typically is that you're putting a monthly installment, the SIP, so it goes over a period of time. Sometimes you bring in lump sum as well. As an investor, for you to do all these calculations and figure out the return as on date would be difficult. But it is beautifully calculated by the app. You don't have to break your head. You know what your returns are and where you can stand against the fixed deposit by comparing the rates. In a real estate investment, the investor has to do it themselves, which many people fail at, and then they don't even know what is the return that they're getting. This is on the numbers side. There are other risks also involved with real estate investing. If it's an under construction property, then there's an under construction risk, whether the property will reach completion or not. There's always a legal risk, which hopefully is mitigated by having the title checked carefully. When you acquire the property, if you're trying to put it on rent, then there's a vacancy risk. There's also a repair risk. And when you go to sell the property, there's a liquidity risk. Thanks to the beautiful advertisements by all these platforms, we assume that there's an infinite number of buyers queuing up to buy a property or at least to look at it. But the truth is that at that point of time, there's only one set of buyers which is there, out of which very few people are eligible. And the more expensive your property is, the more difficult it is usually to sell it off unless you get a good buyer early on in the process. So, for any person who's investing in real estate, they have to consider all these factors carefully. They have to keep their accounts diligently and they have to make sure that they're monitoring the property and exiting at a good time. So I hope this video helps you in your journey of investing. If you have any queries, do drop a comment or reach out to me at my contact points and I'll be happy to get back. Thanks for watching.